So last week I had a guest on my podcast, and he was saying that all conditions, he really believes that all chronic conditions start in the gut. And of course, you're looking at nutrition as well, but is it the gut, or is it really the movement of the muscles and the bones for you? What is the first thing?
All chronic conditions do not come from the gut. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
You think tinnitus comes from the gut? Or a bunion? A herniated disc? No, it's not even possible. It's not possible. Do a lot of chronic conditions come from the gut? Yes, absolutely, especially autoimmune.
Mm-hmm.
Because the gut is leaking, then the proteins in the food is going to go back into the bloodstream. This is what we call dirty blood. And then the body is going to attack those proteins like it's an enemy. And that's called autoimmune. And then depending on where the autoimmune is happening, it's just localized. So if it's up here, you got a thyroid problem. If it's up here, maybe it becomes MS. If it's in your joints, rheumatoid arthritis. So it just depends on the location. If it's the whole body, they call that lupus. So autoimmune most certainly comes from the gut, and a lot of problems come from the gut. But we have to remember, that's like saying all your car's issues come from the engine.
Right.
Well, what about rust?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come from the engine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what about the tire? What about the misalignment of the 4 tires? Did it come from the engine? No. So when we zoom out and we look at the body as a whole unit, you can see that the way I've broken it down makes the most sense. Your body is a vehicle, it needs fuel, and it has a computer. Simple. It couldn't be any more simple. So every chronic condition that you have is going to be one of the 3 or a combination.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunion, since we love talking about bunions today,
Yeah.
a bunion could be a combination. It could be your hips are out of alignment, so you're walking funny. And every time you walk, well, I got a foot right here. So every time you walk, you're pushing on that toe. And so eventually the muscles just give up, and the toe comes in, and the joint starts to inflame.
Mm-hmm.
But nutrition is also involved because perhaps you don't have enough nutrients for hard tissue. And so the hard tissue is giving way.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mind could be at play because perhaps your grandmother had a bunion. So in your mind, you're just, it's genetic. And then, what you think can become reality. It's called manifesting. So all 3 are at play.
I was gonna get to the mind in a second, but at first I wanted to say, okay, so someone comes along, you say they send you pictures of the body. I saw people showing the back and feet and stuff like that, and you were able to make an initial analysis of the movements of the bones and the muscles.
Yep.
Then you ask them, or you look at the forms for the nutrition, and then you're able to already identify some things. Is it always the same things that are wrong? I mean, is it the same for me and you if we were both looking at something?
Yeah. The pelvis is a major factor. The pelvis is to the musculoskeletal system what the gut is to nutrition.
Right.
So I usually look at the pelvis first because that's going to tell me what's going on below the body and above the body. It is your core. It is the base. We're sitting on it right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not good. It's not good. If you look at how you're sitting right now, you and me, it is not good for the body. That's why when you get on the toilet, you're only supposed to be there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to hang out for an hour,
Right.
This is not a normal position. to be sitting in 90 degrees,
Yeah.
right? We're meant to walk and run and climb, you know. So yeah, the pelvis is a really big deal. It is probably the missing link to health from an overall level. Everyone wants to talk about the gut, but the gut is obvious. The pelvis is not obvious.
Mm. So people that have no conditions, no pain or anything like that, would you say that their pelvis is aligned, is in the right place, or is it just something that might come? Might actually, you mentioned that you can predict things that they don't know about yet.
Yeah, pretty much any adult is going to have a messed up pelvis.
Mm.
It tilts forward and it tilts backward. You know, most people it's tilting backward. This is called a posterior pelvic tilt. If it's forward, it's an interior pelvic tilt. And you can tell by the spine, because whatever position it's tilted is it's going to dictate the spine alignment. It's a
Mm.
really big deal, and that is going to determine where your head is.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we have an epidemic. I can't speak for other countries, but I know in America we have an epidemic of brain conditions. And you know, going back to my head to toe healing philosophy, it's kind of a perfect storm of misalignment of the vehicle, lack of nutrition, gut issues, you know, mindfulness issues, all this. And we just, man, it's really bad. I think it's the biggest epidemic that humans have right now. You got too many people with autism. You have too many people with dementia. You have too many people with Parkinson's. And our society is going to collapse if you have people with brain conditions. Even someone in a wheelchair can still be a productive member of society. But
Hmm.
if you have a brain condition, you're done. You're not a member of society anymore. You're not a productive member of society. Now someone needs to take care of you.
Right.
And so the pelvis is at play here, right? So now we're back to the pelvis, because if the pelvis is in a bad position, that can make the head go into a bad position. And if the head is in a bad position, which is really the neck, aka the cervical spine, you can't drain fluid properly from your head. And furthermore, you're not going to get blood and oxygen to the brain, the eyes, the ears, and the nose like you want it to, because your muscles and the position of your spine is blocking it. And so it's all connected, and it's fun. And this just happened yesterday. You know, we go live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and you know, people are all in the Zoom room, and you know, the light bulbs are going off because new people are being introduced to me every day, because social media is just growing and growing and growing. So it's, you know, the light bulb just goes off like, oh my gosh, it's all connected. Why didn't anyone tell me? And the medical system doesn't know because they have specialists. The
Mm.
specialists are the worst thing that could have ever happened. Like if you have a gut issue, you don't want to go to a GI doctor. If you
Mm.
if you have a brain issue, you don't want to go to the brain doctor or the neurologist. You don't. All they're going to do is diagnose you and then set you up with drugs or surgeries. That's it. So you're going nowhere. You're going nowhere. It's a dead end.
Mm.
And so my message is, let's stop this nonsense, and let's get to the head to toe stuff. Let's get to the healing, because we're in trouble. We're in big trouble.